On 30th July 2014, a landslide occurred in the village of Malin in Ambegaon Taluka of Pune district in Maharashtra, India. The landslide, which hit early in the morning, was believed to have been caused by a burst of heavy rainfall and killed at least 151 people. The tragedy prompted massive rescue operations for 8 days, with the National Disaster Response Force working day and night. Around 30 months later, the district administration had recreated an entirely new village where survivors shifted after a small ceremony. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis presented them with new houses built by the government. Beside houses, the administration has built a community hall, a Gram Panchayat office, and a bus stop. The rehabilitated village is located 2 kilometers away from the main village. The newly built houses are earthquake resistant. The government is also working on 5 other villages in the region, which 2 are in danger zone. The new Malin village, as it is now called, has been painted bright and colorful with concrete structures and tar roads. The incident that scared many did not dampen the spirits of the locals who built their lives from scratch. The school building, which was the only sign of survival during the tragedy, has been renovated or rebuilt at the same place by the Maharashtra government. A landslide is the movement of rock, earth, or debris down a sloped section of land. Landslides are caused by rain, earthquakes, volcanoes, or other factors that make the slope unstable. Geologists, scientists who study the physical formations of the earth sometimes describe landslides as one type of mass wasting. Nowadays, many countries are equipped with atomic energy. Out of this, risk of radiation leakage is increasing due to carelessness. Hence, importance of disaster management has become the foremost need of almost all the nations. In fact, it is most necessary for citizens of all countries because they are the main sufferers in any type of disaster. Hence, direct participation of citizens in disaster management is highly necessary. Similarly, disaster management schemes should be changed with respect to location, time, and nature of the disaster. It should not be restricted for a particular period. Overall, there may be any type of disaster. It should be overcome. Concept of disaster management has been arisen out of this only. Disaster management. Disaster may be minor or major, short time or long time. It should be overcome, and effective disaster management is necessary for it. There is a close relationship between disaster management and public participation. Disaster management is either prevention of disasters or making arrangements to face it, or at least achieve the abilities to face it. Disaster is a very fast process. In fact, it is an accident. What shall we do in such a situation? How can we protect ourselves, our belongings, and animals? In case of disaster management, there should be an attempt to minimize the losses. Disasters are never planned, but losses due to it can be prevented in a planned manner. Disaster management is achieving or time to time improving the ability to face the disasters through scientific and careful observations and analysis of data. For example, preparing the action plan through study of various aspects like preventive measures, rehabilitation and reconstruction, and executing that plan is nothing but the management of disaster. Disaster management can be divided into two parts: pre-disaster management and post-disaster management. Pre-disaster management includes the complete preparation and planning to face any type of disaster. For that purpose, we have to identify the pro-disaster areas, collect the information about intensity of disaster and probable sites of disasters through predictive intensity maps and hazard maps respectively. get special training for disaster management, increase awareness about disaster management among the general public through training programs, mass media, etc. Post disaster management provides all types of necessary help to victims of disasters. Participation of preferably local peoples saved from the disaster in arranging the help to victims. Quick establishment of help center. Different types of disasters need different types of control centers. Categorization of the help material received from control center, delivering the material to the victims, and continuous review of the help. Being always prepared for disaster rescue. The main aspects of disaster management cycle: preparation. Plan is prepared to minimize the destruction in any disaster if occurs. Redemption. Plan for minimizing the damage to the society and country. Preparedness. A plan is chalked out so as to get the quick response from general public and administration. Impact of disaster. Intensity of various aspects of disaster and disaster management are reviewed. Response. Response to the disaster is to be given immediately after the evidence. This factor is followed by the disaster strike in this cycle. Resurgence. Resurgence is an important link between emergency measures and national progress. Resurrection is a stage used for the welfare and rehabilitation of the nation. Restoration. This is an important link between measures after disaster and national development. This step is useful for the progress of nation and rehabilitation. The main aspects of disaster management cycle are preparation, redemption, preparedness, impact of disaster, response, resurgence, restoration. The District Disaster Management Authority. At the district level, district collector is responsible for disaster management and implementation of rehabilitation schemes. Collector is planning, coordinating, and controlling the implementation of rehabilitation program, gives out necessary instruction, and reviews the entire system. District collector is also responsible for designing the schemes for each district separately for each type of disaster and getting those sanctioned from state level authorities. District wise disaster control unit. District control unit is established immediately either after the impact of disaster or getting intimation about it. It reviews about various aspects of disaster, keeps continuous contact with various agencies like Army, Air Force, Navy, Telecommunication Department, paramilitary forces, etc. for getting help. It is also responsible for coordinating with various voluntary organizations for their help in disaster management.